All right. Hello, everybody. We are joined by Gotham FC defender Tierna Davidson. We will open it up directly to you all. Media members, please hit the raise hand icon if you have any questions. Jonathan, we'll start with you.
Thanks, Riley. Hi, Tierna. You're going home this weekend, but you're going to be the enemy. What's it going to be like going back to?
I'm really excited to be here. I think it feels really nice to always play in a familiar place, both having played at that stadium, but also just generally in this area. It's exciting to be able to be on the field instead of in the stands. I feel like I've watched so many soccer games here growing up, even with like the Gold Pride, going to Stanford games, going to Santa Clara games. So to be able to be the person on the field that the kids are excited to see and to be able to bring that to the Bay Area, I think is really exciting. So I'm just happy to be here.
It makes us feel a little old. The cyber race might have been for your time.
No, I do remember the cyber race as well. I did have a cyber race jersey. I don't know where it is, but it might be somewhere in my parents' house.
After that, you're going to go to Denver, and a few of us are going to go meet with Emma here in New York in a few minutes. How excited are you to work with her and learn from her?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I mean, I think between everything that I've heard from players as well as just seeing with her success with Chelsea, I'm so excited to see what she's like as a manager and as a coach, and I'm really excited to learn from her and her staff.
Thanks.
Awesome. We will send it over to Jenna, followed by Sean, and then Gary.
Hi, Tierna. Thank you so much for your time. I wanted to ask just kind of how you're feeling. I know you're coming back from an injury, starting to see minutes again with Gotham, and just kind of getting back out there and again, ahead of going to these call-ups with the national team, just how you're feeling.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I think with a muscle injury, especially with the hamstring, it's always important to be very methodical about the rehab, and I think the medical team here has done really well with that. So to make me remain patient and diligent, even when I wanted to get back out on the field. So I'm excited to be able to be out on the field helping the team now.
And then I just wanted to quickly ask you about Ella Stevens and what she's been bringing to this team. I know she's come up clutch for Gotham on more than one occasion now, and just kind of what she's bringing to Gotham on and off the field.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you're really seeing her come into her own. I had the privilege of going to a few youth camps with her, and then playing with her in Chicago, and it's really impressive to see how she's grown, how she's matured, and now to see all of that kind of come into play on the field and kind of come to fruition. She's put in a lot of hard work, and it hasn't been an easy road for her. So I'm really excited to see her getting that success and being able to help the team in a very material way. So it's really exciting, and I just imagine that it's going to grow throughout the season.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Sean and then Gary.
Thank you for taking some time out to speak with us today. You were one of a whole bunch of new players that came in during the offseason. Now there are a whole bunch of first-round draft picks, players out of Stanford. So has that created an easier environment for all of you to gel in, and that you have sort of, for lack of a better term, a sisterhood of having those things in common?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that it's helpful to have some familiarities amongst players. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that we are really starting to come together as a team. And we knew that it would take time, and we knew that it wouldn't be easy. But I think allowing players to get settled into their positions and also to be healthy has really paid dividends for the team. So I think that we only have upwards to move from here, and it's exciting what we're seeing put together on the field.
Awesome. We'll go to Gary.
Hi, Tierna.
Hi.
So you've been a pretty crazy year so far, going from the national team to the team, and then like tournaments. You're going back to the preseason and tournaments and Olympics and all that. Being this mental health awareness month, like what are you doing to kind of keep yourself mentally, in place?
That's a good question. Um, I mean, I think what is so important is having the support of of my teammates. I think that that's the reason that it we are all capable of showing up over and over again, like no matter circumstances, no matter how tired we are, if we've just come off a plane from somewhere, if we have a 3-game week. I think what really pushes us forward is having that bond and that relationship with our teammates. And I think for me personally, that is what gets me through a lot of, times when you're just a bit strung out, you're tired. And so that's so helpful for me to have teammates that I can rely on to lift my spirits, to support me, and to kind of lend a hand when I need it. But also to, I think for me, being able to have my partner living with me full time in New Jersey has been such a blessing, to have that kind of steady presence, to have someone to come home to, and to have someone supporting me off the field as well in personal moments is so important for me. So I think to feel like we've really made New Jersey our home, has been so nice to feel that sense of permanence.
Thank you. And one quick follow-up is a player that you're working with now, Sam Hyatt, has came onto the team and has done really, really well and showed herself well. So what's it like working with her for the season?
Yeah. I mean, Sam and I have known each other for a long time, so it's really great, to be back on the same team together. So I am just like so happy to be able to be sharing the field with her. We're good friends, and then also I feel like we work well together on the field as well. So that's a bonus always. But it's really great to see her doing really well. And I'm so happy to have her as a teammate because she's just a fantastic person.
Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Jonathan Lehman.
Hi, Tierna. Jonathan Lehman with the New York Post. Sucks to be injured, I'm sure, but I was wondering if there was any kind of silver lining to the time that you had off, whether it was a soccer thing or a non-soccer thing, something you were able to catch up on, devote more time to during those weeks when you were off the field.
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned before, getting settled in New Jersey and feeling that sense of permanence, we were able to close on a house and move in, and that was one of the weekends that I was injured. So at
Congrats.
least focus on something positive, throughout an injury recovery is always nice to have a little bit of distraction off the field is always nice. But really also I think in terms of soccer it's hard with injury, but to be able to view the team and training from kind of a third party lens for a little bit, sometimes is really eye opening, and I think it's actually very helpful, especially when it's a new team, and to be able to analyze your teammates' tendencies a little bit more, and kind of how the team flows, and see it from a sideline perspective as opposed to on the field. Sometimes you get a better picture. So I think that's always really helpful, when you're injured, is to be able to watch trainings from the sideline, to be able to watch the games from the box, and really see a tactical view of what's going on, and to be able to internalize that and remember it for when I come back onto the field.
Yeah, if I could just quickly follow up, what was something that you did pick up or felt like you picked up from that view?
I think seeing how our back line is starting to transform into, or like kind of like meld into a really good unit. And I also think, especially with Anne coming in as a new player while I was injured, seeing her tendencies as well, because it's so important to know your tendencies of your keeper, and seeing just kind of how the back five and the back six, including our defensive midfielder, work together, and understanding those tendencies, I think has been really insightful, and that's hard to get when you're on the field in it, but it's much easier to get when you're kind of high up and can see the whole field.
Thank you.
Awesome. Jenna.
Thanks so much. I actually, so not to skip ahead to the game after this one, but yesterday Gotham announced that they've opened up the Upper Bowl for their annual Pride Month match, which is great. It's always such a huge draw for this area, and the team always does really, really well, in ticket sales on that night. And I just want to know for you, just kind of like how important it is to, the fact that every team in the league now has a Pride Month match, that it's, really successful here in New York, and if you're looking forward to playing in that match.
Yeah, of course. I think that the New York City Pride Parade is such a quintessential parade, and then of course with all the history in New York and regarding Pride is as I'm so excited to be able to represent the city on the field for that game. And I think it's always such a fun celebration because it's such a joyful celebration, and I think everyone involved always brings so much joy and happiness to that day and to that month. And I'm so happy and prideful. Really, I'm proud to represent the queer community. So I'm excited for the game.
Absolutely. And then just to talk about the game tomorrow, just in terms of taking on Bay FC, obviously an expansion team, a team that's still trying to kind of find their footing, but it has a really strong ability to score goals. Just kind of what for you on the back line has been the talk going into this match and taking on some very powerful strikers in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's no secret that they have some fantastic offensive talent on their team, and a lot of players that we haven't seen in this league before. And so that's always kind of a mystery factor that you have to really pay attention to, and try and understand players' tendencies. But I think that as a backline, we're focused on, trying to keep a clean sheet, trying to keep transitions and shots on goal to a minimum. That's always our goal. But definitely trying to mitigate some of the individual talents that they have.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks again so much, Tierna.
Awesome. We will go to Sean and we will wrap up with Jonathan.
Jenna, how would you compare? You've been in 3 large markets now, California and college, but being from there, you're probably more familiar with it. Chicago, New York. How would you compare and contrast them both in opportunities for players off the field and the way that the sport is dealt with the fans?
Yeah, I mean, I think all 3 markets are fantastic markets to live in. Like, just the quality of life is amazing in all 3 markets. But I definitely think that you get a lot of growing up where I did and then going to college where I did, it's a little bit more of a suburban feel, less kind of a city feel. And then of course in Chicago it's very much city, and I'm still learning New Jersey and New York. But I think that the kinds of people that you meet in each market are so important, and kind of the best part about living in different markets and living in big cities. And it's just so unique, and to be able to make those connections is, I think, one of the most important parts of your time off the field in different markets, and the unique opportunity that we get. While it's also difficult to have to move different places and have a very mobile life at times, it's also very cool to be able to meet people from different places. But it was, my partner and I have compared and contrasted a lot the different types of personalities that you meet in California versus in Chicago versus in New Jersey, and the difference between East Coasters, West Coasters, Midwesterners, who's the nicest, who's not the nicest. And it's so fun to kind of just see different lives and see how people live, and understand that in New Jersey sometimes people don't yield to unprotected left turns. They just kind of take them. Like it's all different kinds of things that you learn. So it's just such a privilege to be able to live in so many different parts of the country.
And we will wrap up with Jonathan.
If you ever drive south and have to deal with traffic, good luck. I wanted to ask one other question about the Olympics, which is, do you let yourself think about how soon it is? Obviously, there's a lot to do, but you're pretty close now. Do you let that be on your mind?
I try not to, because it's certainly something that we can't control, and it's something that could make our July and August look very different. But I try and take our calendar week to week, and that allows me to stay present in each training and each game that we have. I think it's hard to think about what the summer could look like and the what ifs, because then there's just a lot of getting in my own head. So I try not to think about it too much, but naturally on, and it's hard to not imagine what I could be doing. But for right now, we're just focusing week to week.
Thanks, Tierna.
Awesome. Thank you, Tierna, and that'll wrap up Tierna's availability. We will be right back with Juan Carlos.